The Hilton had just been built. From the balcony of Phaedra's home in Nasmirni, she could see the Parthenon, but she never went outside to look at it. Instead, she walked 10 minutes in the humid summer weather, paid less than 1 drachma, squashed herself into a bus with sweaty, foul old men and women, and rode standing up for 20 minutes to go visit the Athens Hilton. When she reached the modern structure with its 14 floors surrounded by hills of grass amidst a city of cement, she always lost her breath for a few minutes. After neatly rewrapping her thick black hair under the hat that was perched on the top of the head, she looked directly at the doorman. With an air of confidence, she glided through the entrance, immediately reveling in the air condition. Because of her chic Jackie Kennedy look, from her matching black pumps to her handbag to her hat, she was allowed to linger in the lobby without being questioned. There was an area to the left that had a large, comfortable couches, and to the right there was a small bar. "Hello," she said to the bartender in polished English that she had learned in school. "Yasu Phaedra," he always responded in Greek. He knew her name. She never had to tell him because Greek men always knew the names of young, pretty things. "A Nescafe sweet with milk," she said without looking into his dirty eyes. She made her way over the couches, slid her hands behind her bottom to make sure her skirt didn't wrinkle, sat down, crossing her long, slender legs. She reached over and grabbed a magazine and began to flip through it. Despite that, her eyes were facing down. She was completely aware of everything that was going on around her. An ancient woman ambled over and sat next to Phaedra. She looked about 70. So wrinkled. She was wearing hot pink, an outfit much like Phaedra's, except Phaedra's wasn't an obscene color. A respectable Greek woman would never wear pink. She must be an American. In America, you can do whatever you want. The woman dug into her miniature purse and pulled out a silver lipstick case. She popped it open, her hands were shaking. There was a mirror on one side. She looked into it, smacked her dry lips together, then proceeded to cautiously apply the lipstick to her cracked lips, smacking them every time she put on a layer. The outer parts of her lips were covered in fuchsia, a pitiful attempt, Phaedra thought, at trying to make her thin lips look luscious. Smiling at Phaedra, she acknowledged her presence. Phaedra smiled back. An elderly, sweet man came from the elevator and walked over to them. "Ready, darling?" He grabbed the woman's elbow to help her up gently, lovingly. She teasingly hit him on the arm, but took his help anyway. They looked at each other, exchanged a warm glance, moved away, their arms wrapped through each other. Phaedra could see Dimitri across the lobby. He was the day manager. In 3 months, she had met all the managers, all the assistants, anyone who mattered. They were all men. They were all married, and they all tried to bed her. They put their nasty hands on her thigh, stared at her with lustful eyes. She usually told them she was bored with daddy's money and wanted to work. They sat closer, leaned in further, reeking of heavy coffee and cigarette breath, slightly brushing her chest when they reached over to get their drink from the table beside her. Phaedra would just smile sweetly, and after a few visits and making the necessary connections, she was finally hired as a receptionist. It was not a position she desired, but it was a step in the right direction. She was tired of studying ancient Greek and mythology. No more Homer, Socrates, Hera, and Zeus. She wanted air conditioning. Not ceiling fans, carpeting, not parquet. She wanted rock and roll, not bouzoukia. To toast champagne glasses, not to throw plates. She wanted big cars, diamonds, Hollywood. And most of all, she wanted a big house with air conditioning. My mom hates air conditioning. My real mom.